Hello everyone and welcome to Edusurg Clinics. I am Dr. Gunjan Desai and today we are going to discuss a very important trial, a landmark trial from the point of evidence, from the point of management of pancreatitis, as well as if you want to do a trial or learn how to write a research paper. I think the Panter trial paper in NEJM is one of the best articles that you can read and learn from, and in this series, we are going to see a lot of trials that have changed practice in surgery, and you will also understand how the treatments evolve with time. It's going to be an evidence based learning, and of course, these are trials that are very commonly asked in exam. So, something that is there for everyone who's going to see this video. Now, remember that this group is a high volume center. This is the article, and I would urge all of you to please read this article in detail. If you want to do research or if you want to write articles in journals like NEJM, this is one of the best articles to use as a role model. So, the concept was a step up approach versus open necrosectomy upfront in patients with necrotizing pancreatitis. Now, if you don't know this topic at all, this is one of our videos that you need to see where we have discussed the revised Atlanta classification, the types, what is necrosis, phases early and late, severity, and the necrotizing pancreatitis, acute necrotic collection. All these concepts are discussed in this video. Have a look at this video before you study the Panter trial if you don't understand the types of acute pancreatitis. We also have a video on pancreas protocol CT. That is something that you need to know because the Panter trial deals with patients with acute necrotizing pancreatitis. The concept here, why this study was done, is because in acute pancreatitis, 20% of patients develop necrotizing pancreatitis. But the problem is that if there is secondary infection in this necrosis, it is a primary driver of mortality in patients with acute pancreatitis. So, if there is necrosis with infection, this is always an indication for surgical intervention. This specific subset of patients have an 8 to 40% mortality rate when this article was published. This is a 2010 article, so understand that the mortality rates were very high at that time. Step up approach was still under trial. Understand that absolute indication for surgery in necrotizing pancreatitis is if there is an infection in the necrosis. Like I said, if you do a traditional standard, which is a bilateral subcostal incision and an open necrosectomy, a laparotomy to bluntly and completely remove all infected necrotic tissue, as was the trend before this trial was published. The philosophy was complete eradication of infected tissue, but this had a very high complication rate. Nearly one of two patients will have complication, and one in three will have a mortality. Also, the patients will have a high risk of permanent pancreatic insufficiency. So, this was not the ideal treatment that you would want for your patient with such a high complication rate and mortality. And this formed the basis of a step up approach. So the question was, what if we treated infected necrosis like a pressurized abscess rather than a solid tumor? So rather than removing transabdominally the entire necrosis, the principal change that you just reduce the pressure of the necrotic cavity by treating it like an abscess with a percutaneous or an endoscopic drainage first, mitigate the sepsis, and then avoid a transabdominal route, do a retroperitoneal or a transgastric route, minimally invasive, and escalate intervention only if clinically mandated. This was a paradigm shift in philosophy in management of necrotizing pancreatitis with infection, and that is why this is a landmark trial. So the Panter trial understand that there were only 88 patients with confirmed or suspected infected pancreatic necrosis, air in the CT scan, or a proven culture that shows infection. Arm 1 is a primary open necrosectomy. The number of patients were 45, and Arm 2 is a minimally invasive step up approach. the number of patients were 43. Endpoints were complications like organ failure, visceral perforation, enterocutaneous fistula, bleeding, or death. What are the two approaches? We know the retroperitoneal step-up route now, and even our group has an article on video-assisted retroperitoneoscopic debridement. You can look it up on PubMed by my name. The retroperitoneal step-up route, usually on the left side, isolates the infection, preventing contamination of the abdominal cavity and avoid disruption of the visceral organs. When you place the catheter for a VARD procedure, it has to go below the spleen, anterior to kidney and posterior to colon. So that is the route. The conventional route, all of us know, is through bilateral rooftop incision. Step up protocol that has been given as per the article. The first intervention is usually percutaneous or endoscopy, placement of a left retroperitoneal drain in the site that I told you to mitigate sepsis by relieving pressure. Then do a 72-hour observation. If there is no clinical improvement, you may have to increase the size of the drain or put one more drain. Again, wait for 72 hours if clinically permitted. And still, if the drainage fails, remember this is for body and tail necrosis. For head necrosis, it's an endoscopic approach. If this step up fails over one or two drainage procedures, then through the track of existing drain, you can do a video assisted retroperitoneal debridement. Our technique is described in our article. If you want, you can read it, it's open access. And then you can do this necrosectomy and put two drains in a way that you can use them for post-operative lavage. So this is basically the step-up protocol if you are asked in exams. First is percutaneous or endoscopic. Head side is endoscopic, body and tail is percutaneous. Then observation and then VARD. Remember, when we are studying an article, it is very important to understand what were the outcomes of that article. 35% of step up patients that were assigned to this approach did not require surgical necrosectomy, and this was an eye opener because 15 out of 43 patients survived with only drainage. So, a simple drainage and pressure relief in that abscess cavity successfully mitigated sepsis, and this is a very important point. If we look at how these patients were managed, 40 patients received retroperitoneal percutaneous drainage, 2 had transgastric and 1 had transabdominal drainage. 26 patients required VARD or laparoscopic surgery a median of 10 days later. There were 2 patients who had fatality. Now, coming to major complications and death, which is the primary outcome, open necrosectomy had 69% of experience of the primary composite endpoint, which is complication or death, vis-a-vis step-up approach, where only 17 out of 43 or only 40% of patients had this endpoint. When it comes to mortality, this was the only thing that did not differ significantly between the two groups, but the benefit of step-up approach was in significant morbidity reduction. When it comes to complication matrix, again, the radical open necrosectomy had a very high complication rate. P-value was significant across all the three parameters, that is new onset multiple organ failure, enterocutaneous fistula or visceral perforation, and intra-abdominal bleeding requiring intervention. All of them were more with open necrosectomy, something that we now know. This article, when it was published, was a path-breaking article. Step-up approach universally lowered the incidence of major complications, driven primarily by a dramatic 70% relative reduction in new onset multi-organ failure. The basis of why this happened, why the step-up approach was beneficial, and I always say this to patients of pancreatitis, that surgery is also a trauma when it comes to pancreatitis. So the first hit to the body is in acute pancreatitis, which is already made the body weak. The patient is frail. And these patients, when we do a radical open surgery, not at the right time, this can push them or topple them towards the multi-organ failure zone. And this is what was happening initially. If you can see here, They already have acute pancreatitis, necrotizing, then they have infection in the necrosis. And if we intervene in a maximal fashion, the patient can topple towards organ failure and complication zone. Whereas if we do a step up approach, what we are trying is to have minimal trauma to the body while relieving the pressure of the abscess cavity, relieving the infection, and trying to take the patient away from the early insult with GI feeding. We now know enteral nutrition also helps in this regard, and then see if the patient needs a surgery. So, preserving anatomy, avoiding surgery helps the patient recover. And in the long run, when these patients were followed up, new onset diabetes, exocrine insufficiency, and incisional hernias were definitely significantly lower with the step up approach. So, if you look at the clinical outcomes as well as cost or national impact, hospital resources utilization, in all these fronts, the step up approach did better than an open necrosectomy approach. And this is where the beauty of this paper lies. There were only 88 patients that were compared, and it still led to a paradigm shift and a change in practice globally. And that is the beauty of doing a good research, a good article with intervention. This is an interventional randomized article, and you can see here how a simple study with 88 patients can be path breaking. So, primary strategy was that the minimally invasive step-up approach became the preferred treatment strategy for necrotizing pancreatitis with secondary infection. Controlling the source of infection through initial drainage spared nearly a third of patients from major abdominal surgery. By minimizing the second hit of surgical trauma, the step-up approach dramatically reduced pancreatic insufficiency, multiple organ failure, and healthcare cost. And this is where the Panter trial became path breaking and led to abandonment of primary open necrosectomy as the default intervention for patients with infected pancreatic necrosis. So, three of our videos that you can see, landmark trials, we are going to discuss so that you understand how interestingly evolved the surgical and medical practices, how various trials that have been done so meticulously with excellent record keeping and excellent presentation of data with a small number of patients, Pental trials still change practice internationally, and that is what we have to learn from this article. Thank you.